Hello and welcome to Soft Step English. I am Nora.
And I am Ethan, still trying to understand why a free weekend somehow turns into laundry, messages, shopping, and one very mysterious missing afternoon.
That is very real. And we want to start with a quick question for you. Which is harder for your English routine, a busy weekday or a wide, messy weekend?
Yes, because weekdays look obviously busy, but weekends can disappear in a softer, sneakier way.
Exactly. In this episode, we are talking about how to design the minimum English routine for real life. Not the dream plan, not the perfect schedule. The version that can stay alive when work is heavy, your energy is low, or life becomes noisy.
So if your plan looks beautiful on Monday and completely dead by Thursday, this episode is for you.
We will go step by step. We will look at why one routine often fails, why weekdays and weekends need different jobs, how to make English hard to lose, and how to build a system that feels small but strong.
This episode is around B1 to B2 level, so some parts may sound a little richer, but we will still speak clearly and explain useful phrases as we go.
And if you miss a few words, stay with us. You can always listen again later and you will catch more each time. If this kind of practical English fits your real life, you can follow Soft Step English and stay with us.
And if you know someone trying to rebuild an English routine, you can share this episode with them later.
Let us begin with something many learners know very well. They start with a strong plan, a fresh notebook, new apps, saved videos, good intentions, maybe even a beautiful study timetable.
Day 1 feels amazing. You wake up early, make coffee, open your English app, and suddenly you feel like a new version of yourself.
For a few days, everything feels possible. You study before work, during lunch, and again in the evening. Then, ordinary life returns.
Monday gets crowded, a meeting runs late, a child gets sick, the commute becomes longer. Saturday turns into errands, cleaning, family visits, or pure tiredness.
Then the plan breaks, and many people think, the problem is my discipline.
But there is a different idea here, and I think it is a very useful one. Usually the real problem is not discipline. The real problem is design.
Design means the shape of the routine, how it fits real life. In simple words, maybe you are not weak. Maybe your system is asking for the wrong thing at the wrong time.
That idea feels honest. It also removes some shame, and shame is a terrible planner.
Yes, if a routine keeps breaking in normal life, the answer is not always try harder. Sometimes the better answer is build differently.
That is such a powerful shift.
Many learners build one ideal routine and try to use it every single day. But weekdays and weekends are not the same kind of time.
A weekday is narrow, crowded, and full of fixed responsibilities. A lot of your time already belongs to other people or other tasks.
Exactly. And a weekend looks more open, but it is also more fragile. Fragile means easy to break or easy to take over.
You think the day is free, and then suddenly it is full of rest, social plans, housework, traffic, family needs, or things you forgot all week.
So when one routine tries to control both kinds of days, it creates tension. Tension means pressure between things that do not fit well together.
The routine asks for the wrong kind of energy at the wrong time.
If you want English to become part of daily life, you do not need a perfect schedule. You need a minimum version that can survive ordinary life.
Minimum version is one of our key phrases today.
Yes, a minimum version is the smallest complete form of your practice, not your dream routine, not your most impressive routine, the version that still works when you are busy, tired, distracted, or simply not in the mood.
And because weekdays and weekends have different shapes, your minimum should have different shapes too.
This sounds simple, but it changes the whole way you think. The goal is no longer how much English can I do every day. The goal becomes how can I make English hard to lose?
I love that phrase. Hard to lose. It means English stays near you. It does not fall out of your life every time the week gets messy.
Exactly. Once English becomes hard to lose, your progress becomes more stable. You stop building from motivation alone and start building from structure.
Motivation is like weather. Some days sunny, some days not. Structure is more like a house. It stays there.
So the first useful shift is to stop asking, how much English should I study every day? and start asking, what kind of English practice can fit this kind of day?
Because a Tuesday night and a Sunday morning are not the same thing at all.
A weekday usually gives you short windows, low energy, and many interruptions. A weekend may give you longer windows, but not always at a fixed time. So instead of one routine, you need two compatible routines, a weekday minimum and a weekend minimum.
Compatible means they work together. They support each other. They do not compete with each other.
Let us start with weekdays. The weekday minimum should be small, automatic, and low friction.
Low friction means easy to begin. Not no effort, but very little resistance.
Right. You should be able to start almost immediately. No special tools. No perfect desk. No long quiet block of time. On weekdays, starting matters more than ambition.
Because if the routine asks for too much attention, too much writing, or too much emotional effort, it can fail before it even starts.
Here is a clear example. An office worker named Lena leaves home at 8, works until 6:30, and comes back tired.
She tried the classic 1 hour every evening plan.
On Monday, she managed it. On Tuesday, she did 20 minutes and felt guilty. On Wednesday, she skipped it because she needed groceries. On Thursday, she watched a drama in her own language because her mind felt empty. By Friday, she believed she had no consistency.
That is the painful part. She did not fail because she did not care. She failed because the routine did not respect her real week.
Exactly. Then she changed her weekday minimum. Instead of one heavy hour, she gave herself 3 short actions: 5 minutes of listening while making breakfast, 5 useful sentences during lunch, and 5 minutes of review before bed.
It is not dramatic, but it is repeatable. Repeatable means you can do it again and again in ordinary life.
After a month, she had heard English every weekday, collected many expressions, and felt that English belonged to her normal life.
That line matters so much. English belonged to her normal life, not to a special study world, not to a perfect version of herself, to her actual life.
That is the power of a good weekday minimum. It respects reality. It does not fight with reality.
And when a routine respects reality, it becomes much easier to trust yourself again.
A strong weekday minimum often has 3 parts: contact, capture, and reuse.
3 useful C words, very friendly for the memory.
Contact means you hear or read some English every day, even for just a few minutes. This keeps the language familiar.
So English is not a rare event. It stays alive in your ear and in your attention.
Exactly. Capture means you notice one phrase, one sentence pattern, or one useful idea and save it.
Like writing down, I ended up, or it depends on, or maybe one sentence you really want to steal for your own life.
Yes. Then reuse means you say it, write it, or mentally apply it to your own situation. For example, I ended up working late again. Or, it depends on the deadline.
Contact without capture disappears quickly. Capture without reuse stays passive.
Passive means it sits in your notebook but does not really become yours. Reuse turns input into living language.
That is such a good phrase, living language.
And notice how everyday the examples are. A commuter listens to a short audio clip on the train, saves I ended up and uses it later. A university student reads while waiting for class, saves it depends on and uses it in a voice note. A parent watches a short cooking video, hears leftover vegetables, and then says, "We had leftover vegetables in the fridge."
Small practice becomes meaningful when it connects to real life.
Exactly. Meaningful means it has real value because it connects to your experience.
It is not about collecting English like pretty objects. It is about using English where your life already is.
But weekday practice also needs clear limits. If you make the weekday minimum too rich, it stops being minimum.
This is where people secretly build a hidden full course.
Yes, they say they will review 10 words, but then they also want a 20-minute lesson, a journal entry, grammar checking, and shadowing practice. It sounds serious, but it creates pressure.
And pressure on weekdays often becomes avoidance. Avoidance means you move away from the task because it already feels too heavy.
A true minimum should feel almost too easy not to do. That is why it survives.
It should be small enough that your tired brain cannot make 1,000 excuses.
Now let us move to weekends. Many learners think weekends should simply be more. More pages, more videos, more exercises, more hours, more catching up.
Sometimes that works, but sometimes it becomes a trap.
Exactly. If weekends become a place for heavy catch up, English starts to feel like unpaid debt.
Unpaid debt means something you still owe, something hanging over you, something heavy.
Yes, the learner thinks, I was too busy during the week, so now I must do double. Then weekend study loses freshness. It becomes repair work instead of curiosity.
Instead of joy, it feels like a bill arriving at your door.
So the weekend minimum should not only be longer, it should be broader and deeper.
Broader means wider, with more kinds of practice. Deeper means you can stay with something longer and understand it better.
Weekdays keep the connection alive. Weekends help you organize, stretch, and personalize that connection.
On the weekend, you can actually breathe with the language a little.
Yes, you can read for longer without looking at the clock. You can speak for 10 or 15 minutes without rushing. You can review your saved phrases and group them into themes. You can notice patterns in your mistakes. You can return to one topic from more than one angle.
Think of the weekend as a workshop, not a punishment.
That is worth repeating. A workshop, not a punishment. During the week, you collect pieces. On the weekend, you build with them.
That picture is so useful. Weekdays collect, weekends build.
Here is another strong example. Imagine you save these weekday phrases: run out of time, keep up with, take a break, put off, and a waste of energy.
Those are painfully real phrases for adult life.
On Sunday, instead of opening random new material, you use those phrases in a short reflection. I ran out of time on Wednesday. I could not keep up with all my tasks. On Thursday, I needed to take a break, but I put it off. That was a waste of energy.
So the phrases stop being lonely little items in a list.
Exactly. They connect to real experience, and that connection helps memory and fluency.
And fluency here does not mean speaking very fast. It means the language comes more naturally when you need it.
Good clarification. Another learner may spend weekdays listening but rarely speaking because the days are too busy. For that person, the weekend minimum could be a 15-minute spoken review.
Just choose one theme from the week: work stress, food habits, family plans, sleep, money, commuting, anything real.
Yes, no perfect recording setup, no dramatic performance, just a phone and a quiet corner. The goal is expansion.
Expansion means giving the language more room to breathe and grow.
There is also an important idea here about energy. We often treat energy like a moral question,
As if being tired means you are lazy or not serious.
but energy is usually a planning question. If you cannot do deep grammar analysis at 9:30 at night after a long workday, that does not mean you are lazy. It means the task does not match the time.
That sentence could remove so much guilt for people.
And weekends need structure too. Free time without structure can disappear faster than busy time.
That is completely true. If I say, I will study sometime on Saturday, suddenly it is Sunday evening and I am carrying groceries and wondering what happened.
So the weekend minimum should be more spacious than the weekday version, but it should not be shapeless.
Spacious means it has room. Shapeless means it has no clear form.
Exactly, room is useful, fog is not.
That is a painful little truth.
A useful way to think about all of this is to give weekdays and weekends different jobs.
I like that very much. Different jobs, not different levels of importance.
The job of weekdays is continuity. Continuity means staying in touch with the language and keeping the relationship alive.
Keep your ear open. Keep your mouth moving. Keep collecting useful material.
The job of weekends is consolidation. Consolidation means you return, review, connect, and expand.
So the weekday routine is not weak. It is doing its exact job.
And the weekend routine is not heavy rescue work, it is helping the week make sense.
That makes the whole system feel lighter and smarter.
There is also an important idea here about identity. Many learners say, I want English to become a habit. But habit can be too vague.
Yes, because it sounds nice, but what does it actually mean on a rainy Tuesday night?
A more helpful identity is this: I'm a person who keeps English near me during the week and works with it more deeply on The weekend.
That identity is practical. It can survive a bad Tuesday, a sleepy Saturday, and one completely strange week.
Exactly. It does not depend on a perfect streak. It depends on returning to the system.
Returning is such an important word. Not proving, not performing, returning.
Then there are some common mistakes to watch for, and they are very useful.
Yes, because these mistakes are sneaky.
The first mistake is confusing minimum with meaningless. Some learners hear minimum version and imagine something so small that it has no effect.
They think, 5 minutes? That is silly.
But small does not mean empty. 5 focused minutes with 3 useful sentences is very different from 5 minutes of half attentive scrolling.
And one paragraph that reuses your wheel phrases is much stronger than a random paragraph, copied from a textbook.
Exactly. Specific and repeated actions can be very powerful.
Small and real can beat big and vague.
The second mistake is using the minimum version only on bad days. Then the minimum becomes a symbol of failure.
Like the emergency button you press when your real plan is dying.
Yes, but the minimum should be the floor of the system, not the emergency exit.
The floor of the system means the stable base you stand on every week.
Some days you will do more, and that is great. But the minimum should remain the default shape. Then extra study becomes a bonus, not a requirement.
That change is small, but it changes the emotion completely.
The third mistake is creating too much choice. People did not always fail because the task is difficult. Sometimes they fail because beginning requires too many decisions.
12 podcasts, 5 apps, 3 notebooks, 4 study methods, and now your brain is tired before practice even starts.
So the minimum should reduce choice. For weekdays, 1 listening source, 1 place to save phrases, and 1 review action may be enough.
And for weekends, one repeatable session format is often better than a brand new genius plan every Sunday.
The fourth mistake is separating English from life too completely.
English becomes a school subject again, a separate planet.
Exactly. Then it demands special time, special mood, and special energy. And consistency becomes fragile. The minimum works better when it attaches to ordinary actions.
Listening while making coffee. Reviewing on the bus. Writing 3 sentences after dinner. Speaking while taking a walk.
The point is not to study all the time. The point is to stop making English feel far away from life.
Build natural bridges, not a giant wall.
The fifth mistake is expecting weekends to feel automatically productive.
But weekends also carry emotion, rest, recovery, family, social needs, and accumulated fatigue.
Exactly. That is why the weekend also needs a minimum version, not only a big version. Some weekends, a deep 90-minute session is possible. On others, maybe the minimum is 20 minutes of review and 1 short spoken recap. That still counts.
A flexible structure lasts longer than a heroic structure.
Very well said. Under all these mistakes, there is also a deeper misunderstanding. Many learners think success means equal effort every day.
But real life is not equal, so your effort cannot be equal either.
What matters is not equal effort, it is a continuous relationship. English stays present across different kinds of days.
Some days you maintain it lightly. Some days you strengthen it more seriously.
Yes, that is how exercise works. It is how friendship works. It is how health often works too. Stability usually comes from rhythm, not intensity.
Rhythm, not intensity. That line is staying with me.
So what does a practical system look like in real life?
Please make it concrete.
It begins with one honest question. What can I almost always do on a weekday? Even on a messy day?
Messy day means crowded, interrupted, imperfect, maybe emotionally noisy.
Yes, the answer should be modest. Maybe it is 10 minutes of listening and 1 saved phrase. Maybe it is 1 short reading and 2 spoken sentences. Maybe it is reviewing yesterday's notes while waiting in line.
The important word is honest.
Exactly. If you choose a version that only works on your best day, you are designing for fantasy.
That hurts a little, but in a useful way.
Then ask a second question. What can I usually do on a weekend that helps me connect and deepen, without making English feel heavy?
Maybe a 30-minute review session, a longer reading block, a short voice recording, or a written reflection using the week's phrases.
Again, the goal is not to impress yourself. The goal is to create a pattern you will still recognize a month later.
That is a great test. Will this still look like your routine next month?
It also helps to define what completion means. Vague routines disappear because the finish line keeps moving.
Stay in touch with English sounds lovely, but it is hard to finish something that vague.
Exactly. But listen to one short audio, save one phrase, and reuse it once is visible. You know when you are done.
And study more on the weekend is foggy.
While review this week's saved phrases and produce one spoken or written summary is. Clear routines are easier to repeat.
They also create calmer feelings because you know what success looks like,
Once the minimum is clear, protect it from emotional drama.
meaning do not let every day become a giant debate with yourself.
Right. Some days it will feel easy, some days boring. Some days you will want to do more, some days you will want to skip everything. None of that is surprising.
The point is not daily excitement. The point is normality.
Yes, you do not ask every morning whether you feel inspired enough to brush your teeth.
Thank goodness, because that would be exhausting.
The minimum English routine should move in that direction. Not mechanical, but normal. Not dramatic, but durable.
That is such a calm and mature goal.
In the end, designing a minimum English routine is not about lowering standards. It is about respecting the actual shape of your life so that the language can stay inside it.
Weekdays and weekends are different, so they need different kinds of attention, different amounts of energy, and different forms of practice.
Weekdays ask for short, low-friction continuity. Weekends ask for clearer room to review, connect, and expand.
On weekdays, keep English close. On weekends, give it room.
If you can do that, your routine no longer depends on perfect motivation or perfect time. It becomes part of ordinary life.
And ordinary life is exactly where real language growth needs to happen.
All right, this is the moment for our word tour.
Say it with us. Word tour.
In this part, we go slowly. We revisit expressions from today's episode and we practice them together.
So if you can, please speak out loud with us. Quietly is fine. Slowly is fine. Take your time.
Our first expression is minimum version.
Repeat after us. Minimum version.
One more time, slowly, minimum version.
This means the smallest complete form of something. Not nothing, not half. The simplest version that still works.
Example: my minimum version for weekdays is 10 minutes of listening and one saved phrase.
Good. Now let us try hard to lose.
Say it with us. Hard to lose.
One more time. Hard to lose.
This means difficult to disappear from your life. Stable. Easy to keep near you.
Example. I want English to be hard to lose even in a busy month.
Next, low friction.
Repeat after us. Low friction.
Slowly, low friction.
Low friction means easy to start. There's very little resistance.
Example: listening while making breakfast is a low friction habit.
Now let us practice stay in touch.
Say it with us. Stay in touch.
This means keep contact with something. In this episode, it means keep contact with the language.
Example: on weekdays, I stay in touch with English through short audio clips.
Next phrase, and this one has a little emotional weight, unpaid debt.
Repeat after us. Unpaid debt.
One more time, slowly, unpaid debt.
This means something you still owe. In simple words, it feels heavy and unfinished.
Example, if weekend study feels like unpaid debt, the routine may be too heavy.
Good. Now let us do workshop, not punishment.
Say it together, workshop, not punishment.
A workshop is a place where you build, practice, and improve. Punishment is something painful that makes you feel bad.
Example, my Sunday study should feel like a workshop, not punishment.
Next expression: the floor of the system.
Repeat after us, the floor of the system.
Slowly, one more time. The floor of the system.
This means the stable base, the level you can stand on every week.
Example: my weekday minimum is the floor of the system, not an emergency plan.
Now, separate planet.
Say it with us, separate planet.
This is a metaphor, a picture in language. It means something feels too far from normal life.
Example: I do not want English to feel like a separate planet from my real routine.
Very nice. Next, messy day.
Repeat after us: messy day.
A messy day is crowded, interrupted, imperfect, and maybe emotionally confusing.
Example: even on a messy day, I can still do my minimum version.
And one more because it is very important, continuous relationship.
Say it slowly with us: continuous relationship.
One more time, continuous relationship.
This means the connection keeps going over time, even if the intensity changes.
Example, my goal is a continuous relationship with English, not equal effort every day.
Let us do 3 expressions again together: minimum version, low friction, continuous relationship.
Again, slowly, minimum version, low friction, continuous relationship.
Very good. If some phrases still feel new, that is completely okay. Repetition is how they become yours.
Before we go, here's a small homework idea. Write down your weekday minimum and your weekend minimum and one simple sentence each.
Keep it honest. If the plan only works on your best day, make it smaller.
Then tell us in the comments what your weekday minimum or weekend minimum looks like.
If you want, you can use one phrase from today's word tour in your comment. We would really love to read it.
If this episode helped you, you can follow Soft Step English and come back for the next one.
Thank you for spending this time with us.
I'm Ethan.
And I am Nora. More English is waiting for you, and your progress continues one soft step at a time.